Hello everyone, my name is Tvishaa Kandala and I'm currently a freshman studying at Arizona State University. This video is the submission for my English 107 WP2 project. In this project, as required, I chose a TED Talk, found a gap, and then did research on it, and I'm finally presenting the video of my findings. The application of VR in media has always fascinated me since I was introduced to this technology when I had visited an exhibition at my high school. In the TED Talk I chose, Noni de la Pena talks about virtual reality in news and media. She feels that when VR is used in media, it will make the participation of the audience more intense. The audience then are likely to experience the event as active participants, leading them to become more sensitive and make them feel like they are really in that situation. While watching the video, I realized that checks and balances needed to be defined for this technology. Although VR can bring about a revolution in the profession of journalism, it is not free of shortcomings. Given its ability to evoke strong emotions, how does one ensure that the ideals of responsible journalism are followed and honest, truthful, and fair information is disseminated? There is a need for the consumers of this new technology to be sensitized to the fact that production and consumption of VR demands collaboration with a wide range of actors outside the newsroom. Now, questions like the following arise. Should ethics and guidelines tailored to VR production be formulated? If so, by whom? Given the range of actors with different sensibilities involved in the process. If guidelines are desirable, what might they cover and how might they be framed? VR technology is becoming very exciting, and one of the prediction puts it as a multi-trillion-dollar industry with applications across various sectors like education, media, entertainment, etc. In recent times, digital technology has influenced the dissemination of news, and VR brings in a fundamental change. With active participation of the users, VR is transforming storytelling to story living. Storytelling is about narrating the event, whereas in story living, the user becomes an active part of the story, feeling the emotions of the characters while also trying to interact with them. VR is being actively introduced by a growing number of major news organizations like CNN and New York Times, etc. A good example is of a study conducted by New York Times during January and February of 2018 on a VR story depicting ordinary people's encounter with forced migration. The primary interest was to study the emotional bond between the users and the characters that was evoked by the story living characteristic of VR journalism. The user observes the events both inside and outside the house. The victim's family can be seen trying to call for help and the emergency services reaching. VR can also be used for increasing knowledge about climate change and other scientific issues, as it is important to gather public support for climate policy. In fact, VR has been used for promoting public knowledge about climate change. News organizations are increasingly producing immersive journalism as an effective tool to learn about climate change, as immersive technologies gives users a first-person experience with the news that is believed to help one experience the important effects of climate change. Virtual reality immerses its users within a three-dimensional narrative environment characterized by vividness and interactivity, eliciting a sense of concrete existence within the constructed world. The sense of presence is both subjective and objective. Users feel like they're inside the virtual environment and behave as if they are really there. Driven in part by curiosity and in part by a desire to explore new opportunities for audience engagement and revenue generation, a growing number of major news organizations are experimenting with virtual reality and other immersive technologies such as 360 degrees videos, which you might have already seen on YouTube. Wide ranging experiments have been conducted from sophisticated data visualization, as in the Wall Street Journal's roller coaster VR about the Nasdaq index, to the provision of emotionally compelling user experiences such as The Guardian's 6 by 9 piece on prison life in solitary confinement. Users of an early experiment with journalistic VR about hunger in Los Angeles responded physically when a virtual character collapsed whilst in line for a food bank. Users tried to comfort the seizure victim by trying to whisper something into his ear or in some way help him. This is a classic case of VR evoking empathy in the user. Now, focusing on the other important challenge: how do we make sure that this technology is accessible to everyone? Globally, the adoption of 5G technology is likely to make the internet 20 times faster, and this is expected to accelerate the adoption of VR in the public domain. Also, wearable computing is rapidly becoming an exciting technology, advancing well beyond the realm of science fiction, speculation, and clumsy early prototype devices. This is largely due to the advances in technology that have made computing devices smaller, more energy efficient, thereby making them wearable. A study conducted recently concluded that in the last 7 years there has been a 17-fold increase in the number of internet connected computing devices in an average US household. Today, 360-degree videos can be produced with little technical expertise using relatively inexpensive cameras and posted on Facebook or YouTube, allowing pieces to go viral as well as dramatically cutting their cost and delivery cost. Technically complex VR is becoming available via Google Cardboard, which news organizations such as The Guardian and the New York Times have provided free to their members or subscribers. Meanwhile, the cost of headsets that deliver a realistic experience continues to fall. The difficulty of putting a price on VR content is being worked through across the industry, from artist rates to production company fees. Different industries converge in VR, and each has their own fee structures, which make it a complex situation to arrive at a revenue model. However, attempts are being made to calculate the ROI and have a business model. In conclusion, a growing number of newsrooms are experimenting with virtual reality and other immersive storytelling techniques, typically supported by technology companies that see journalism as the potential vehicle for taking VR mainstream. The resulting pieces have been wide-ranging in topic, style, and scope, but all introduce new complexities to journalistic norms and practices. I believe in the coming years, virtual reality will overcome the challenges that are currently holding it back and will be available to the general public at large. Before I end my video, I would sincerely like to thank my English 107 professor, Mrs. Tonya Ike, for giving me this opportunity, and my teammates Reem, Rutvik, and Akshit for helping me throughout the project. Thank you.